I'm a newbie still.
That's okay.
Which is the most effective way to prevent this outcome in the future projects? At the end of an Agile project, all stories are completed on schedule and all tests pass. But the customer does not consider the product a success. Which is the most effective way to prevent this outcome in the future projects?
Okay.
So I haven't gotten to Agile, the kind of deep dive, but I'll give it my shot. So A, ensure that the product vision is approved by the customer before developing the backlog. I am a little apprehensive as to why you want to do this beforehand.
Okay. I like that apprehension.
Because it seems a little bit odd.
Mhm.
But I'll read through the answers before crossing mine out.
Yeah, dude, cross it out. Have fun. Cross them out.
Okay, cross it out. Yeah,
The process is to cross it out. Let's be decisive.
Seems pretty sus to me.
All right.
Agree with the customer on success criteria to be integrated to the definition of done. So I remember early, like one of the first questions is, when you establish your criteria at the beginning, and if you keep going back and forth with the customer, you're never really going to be done, right? And so by clearly defining the criteria early on, you should have the definition clean rather than kind of going back and forth with the customer.
You're talking about like what they want in a product.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So let me, I love where your brain is and like, hey, let's define it. Let's move toward it. I'll clarify just basic Agile terms that it's my responsibility to define. So we're good. So definition of done is a term that says like, okay, so we have the user stories that are in the backlog, blah, 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 blah. Like we're going through this iteration. We have to have agreed upon standards as the team of what done means of the work. What does it mean? Does it mean like we just finished it? Or does it mean we finished the work, we tested it, we did the recorded like the data, we finished the documentation? Like, see how those are different? Like I could be like, I finished it, dude, it works. And you'd be like, no, dude. Like you didn't do the documentation, you didn't test it, whatever. And so if we as a team agree, like, all right, when we say done, we all agree because my work affects your work sometimes. So I got to make sure that my stuff's done would affect you. So that's just like an internal thing to say like, yo, all the user stories done means this: tested, finished, documented, done. So that's just an internal team thing to get it to the end. That's what it means.
No, that's helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm not going to cross that out quite yet.
Okay.
Collect customer feedback on incremental release demos and user tests. Okay. And then ensure that the test plan includes non-functional requirements in the backlog.
Fancy words. Non-functional requirements.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that one, I'm not really, it doesn't 100% tie back to the question in my
point.
I just feel like you said, the last question had a lot of buzzwords. And I feel like this one has a lot of buzzwords, but I'm not sure they're like tying to the specific question.
Agreed. Yeah. If it doesn't solve the thing that's there, then goodbye. I don't know why I can't draw. Yep. There we go. Keep going.
So collect customer feedback on incremental release demos and user tests. I think I'm going to actually go with B.
Okay.
But I can't say like I'm 100%, but that's like what that's what like my gut's leaning towards.
Okay. Go with your gut.
Because it's at the end of the day, like, the customer doesn't agree. So maybe it wasn't like clearly defined initially of what done looks like. Or what defined, or like what success is defined as. Collecting feedback is great, but you can't, at the end of the day, you're saying the product's done. but they're essentially disagreeing that it's done. So the customer. So that's where I'm at.
Okay, cool. Mike, does the customer say that the product is not done?
No, they tell the definition, but well, I mean,
No, I'm asking, I'm not saying in general, I'm saying in the question. Does it say that the customer says that the project is not done? What does the customer say?
nope, it just doesn't consider it a success. So it's done, but it's not exactly what they had in their vision.
Right. It's like, it's not, I mean, you did it, but it's like, I ain't coming back. Like, we're not going to go to this restaurant again. Like,
Yep.
Okay, cool. So what do you think the answer to the question is and why?
I agree with the 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
and it's definitely a rough one because the feedback tying in to or that you get is going to be invaluable, but if you don't have the definition of what is done, so okay, I'm just going to backpedal here. So it's not a success. The only way to fix that is to get feedback incrementally in my eyes. So I'd go with C.
Go with C. Yeah. Okay. So Mike's on C. All right. Cool. Yeah. He backtracked. He got on a different track and cool. Woody's back. What do you think, Woody?
I just basically agree with what was said about C.
Sweet.
It solves the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Next time it's like, hey, we're not going to get to the end and have them be like, we're gonna be like, yo, early on, like, you don't love it? Like, well, let's tweak it, dude. Like, what do you love?
Yeah, good directions.
Yeah. Well, let's get some feedback going here. All right, cool. Stephen with a V. Are you cool with that?
Yeah, I definitely think C is the right way to go. If you had input more often, then you wouldn't have got to the end and had the customer unhappy. So definitely agree with C.
Boom, we got it good.